Good evening, welcome. It's Sonny TV Arsenal, and it's Arsenal's Greatest 11. And I've got some really special guests with me today. Let me introduce my sidekick first. Got a gal, the kid.
What's going on? How's it going?
Nice to see you again, my bro. And I've got two very special people with me tonight. I've got Ryan from the MrArsenal Podcast. How you doing, Ryan?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm coping as it stands. I haven't got cabin fever yet from this isolation. Only a matter of time, but yeah.
Well, at least the only thing was green is your t-shirt, mate. It's not your face, so we're all right. And I've got another very good friend of mine. It's Tom from another great podcast, the Gooner Talk. How you doing, Tom? You all right?
Yeah, very good, mate. Thank you. Dealing with the cabin fever's not set in yet, but I think it will do after the missus has just been laid off for a week or so that might get a little bit worse.
Before we get to the show, I just want to welcome everyone in the comments, and as we're going through this as well, we put our sort of greatest Arsenal players down. Also put yours in, but mine is going to be slightly different. So I'm going to get outvoted from these three because everyone does a greatest 11. So I'm going to do my favourite 11, but obviously they're not going to be the greatest players. So it's going to be a slightly different today.
Of course, boys.
Just quickly. Has anyone been affected with the coronavirus? Anyone you know of at all?
Not yet.
Not a single soul.
Thank God. You know what? Thank God. And I hope I'll speak to you again in 6 months' time, and that's still the case. And I hope all this crap is behind us, and we'll get on with it, and hopefully there'll be no football. Sorry, Liverpool fans, but I want the season to be voided. Let's get back to Arsenal. I'm gonna pass you over to my right hand man, Agal, because he's the technical guy. So go on, mate.
Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing our all-time 11, and what we're going to be using is this system that they've done on the BBC. What they did when Arsene Wenger was leaving was they looked at Arsene Wenger's all-time 11, and we're going to be using this to do our all-time Arsenal 11. And the formation we're going to be using is going to be a 4-3-3, and we're going to be picking 3 forwards, 3 midfielders, 4 defenders, obviously 2 center backs, 1 left back, 1 right back, and a goalkeeper. And as long as we can keep it from the 96 and up, because unfortunately I don't know too much before 96.
No, we're not going to do that. Oh, you know what? I'm going to totally change the rules, Miguel. Sorry, mate.
Yeah.
Just because you lot are young, if we keep it 96 and up, then we're gonna always have the same players that everyone else is going to come with, and it's going to get really boring. We've done it a million times before. So you know what? I'm going to leave it to Tom and Ryan and myself to throw some curveballs in. Right.
Okay.
That doesn't mean we're going to pick them, but we're going to throw some curveballs in, and especially Tom is going to show his age, even though I'm older than both of you. Go on.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to write down all the names and have it listed, and at the end of each position, we're going to go through who the majority of us went for, and that's how we're going to select our consensus team. Okay. And we're going to try to do this position as much as we can. What we're going to do is we're going to do the midfield as a cluster together. We're going to all pick 3 midfielders. Center backs, we're going to pick 2. And then up front 3, we're going to select our front 3 in whichever order we want them to go in. Okay? And the people in the comments, you guys can throw in your suggestions also as well.
Guys, it's good time to hit the like button, please, and the subscribe button if you haven't, and also hit the notification bell. And while you're at it as well, go and subscribe to Gooner Talk, and go and subscribe to the MrArsenal Podcast as well. Go on, again.
Okay. Before we get into goalkeeper, I wanted to mention: is there any honorable mentions that you guys want to mention that you feel like would have been on this list if they reached their full potential that we should talk about before we get into this? Like one of your favorite players that you felt like should have been on this list if they reached their full potential. Like for me, I would say Abu Diaby. I felt like he would have been one of our greatest midfielders if he just would have been able to get through his injuries. And he was one of those players where I had so much high hopes for coming up when I was watching him as a kid. He was the closest thing to what I seen Vieira do in my time watching Arsenal. And and he had a short-lived career when it came to staying on the field, of course. But that's my suggestion. What do you guys think?
I think if my auntie had a willy, it'd be my uncle. So you never know what people's potentials are. When Vic Akers said I wasn't good enough to play for Arsenal, how things would have been different, and I wouldn't be sitting here.
Yeah.
But, go to you first, Ryan. Is it anyone's? Let's before we pick our goalie, let's do it by position as we're going along. Yeah.
Yeah.
So goalkeepers. Let me throw some names at you, Ryan, and then you pick a name. You pick some names out as well. Alex Manninger, right? Wojciech Szczesny.
Oh God.
Flapianski. Jens Lehmann.
Right.
Dave Seaman. Pat Jennings. John Lukic. Let's go Bob Wilson, and let's go all the way back to Jack Kelsey, who I don't know if Tom can remember, and maybe you as well, Ryan, actually. When we was at Ivory, we used to go into the gunner shop, right, just along from Avenel Road, and Jack Kelsey used to be the Arsenal goalkeeper. Used to actually run it. He used to actually be behind the counter. But go on, Ryan.
Well, for me, top three would be Seaman, Bob Wilson, then Lenz. But obviously, you've got to pick one. It's David Seaman for me. I grew up most of my childhood was him as our number one goalkeeper. He was so consistent from the day he walked through the door. His first season, what was it?
25 clean sheets. 25 clean sheets.
He only conceded what, 16? Was it 16, 17 goals?
18 goals, wasn't it? 18 goals.
He won a league title. He almost, bar one game, almost became an invincible in his first season. And it's his consistency and also he's the only man in football that can pull off a full-on tash and the porn star ponytail.
I don't know if you can pull that off, mate. I don't know if you can pull that off. I reckon Tom can. Go on, Tom.
I mean, it's hard to look past him, and the alternative for me is
that is such a cliche saying hard to look past Seaman. There is no good way of saying Seaman.
No, there isn't. In terms of anyone else, you look at it. For me, obviously Jens Lehmann. You said I'd show my age, but I know a lot about John Lukic from watching back old tapes and stuff. But for me, it's between Seaman and Lehmann. Lehmann's got, I think, the side with the trophies of the invincible side of things, but Seaman was just so good at commanding that back line. With Lehmann, he was always that chaotic goalkeeper, and whilst he was a top class one, you always had that thing in the back of your mind going, "What's he going to do today?" So I still think Seaman is the guy to go for. I mean, the save that he made, clawing it out from the net. I can't think of a save that Lehmann has made that tops that. So for sure, I think I'm going to go for Seaman as well.
So far we have Ryan, who went for Seaman. I'm assuming. Who'd you go for again, Ryan?
Fans, David Seaman.
Yeah, and then Tom, you went for Seaman.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna keep the streak going, unfortunately. And I also went for David Seaman, and I just thought David Seaman, going back to the history of Arsenal goalkeepers, David Seaman had the best penalty save ratio. And in addition to that, obviously he played on teams that won league titles, constantly played very well, and he has one of the best win ratios for all our players from goalkeeper perspective over the past couple of years. So I feel like there's no doubt in my mind that he would make our all-time Arsenal 11 for a goalkeeper, and that's my selection.
You know what? For me, it's slightly different, to be honest. Yeah, I grew up with Pat Jennings, even though his allegiances were more towards Tottenham than they were to Arsenal, because one of the very few players who played for both. For me, it'd be Pat Jennings over David Seaman. Just for the fact, when that guy stood in the goal, there wasn't much of a goal left to aim at, and also I remember he could pick a football up like that. There we go, like that. His hands were massive. So for me, it would be Pat Jennings, but obviously David Seaman would get the vote.
Yeah, unfortunately, David Seaman will get the vote over Pat Jennings because it's 3-1, Sonny. So we're gonna put Seaman in there, and we'll move on to the next position, guys. And
also as well, as you're going along, pick out your favourite players as well, even if they don't get in. You know, throw a few names as well.
Of course. Okay, so now we're gonna get into the left back, and I know some people are gonna say, "How are we gonna pick Ashley Cole? This is that. Does he deserve to be in there?" Because he did play a large portion of his career at Chelsea and other clubs also. But for me, there is no better left back for Arsenal that Arsenal ever had than Ashley Cole, and I just felt like I'm gonna start it off because I felt like Ashley Cole is like a given in my opinion. And yeah, we'll start backwards this time, and we'll start with you, Tom.
Ashley Cole is obviously known for being that guy that did go to Chelsea, but as you say, he's probably the best left back of definitely the Arsene Wenger era, at least. But Kenny Sansom, in my mind, from watching clips of Kenny Sansom, that guy had real quality, really up there with the best left backs that Arsenal have had. To think of any others that go in there, you're thinking of Nigel Winterburn being part of that amazing back four, but arguably he was probably the weakest link of that back four. But I still think that Ashley Cole, as you've mentioned, is the best left back that we have had. So I am going to continue that streak and go for Ashley Cole.
Okay, so that's now we're going to go with you, Ryan.
See, me, it was a toss up between Winterburn and Ashley Cole for me because
not Andre Santos, no.
No, hell no. Would it even make it goalkeeper? Jesus, no, just because that's the era I grew up with. I know, and since then we haven't really had them sort of left backs who could defend and go forward and put a cross in. Obviously, I have to go with Ashley because he came from the academy. He wasn't even left back. We came through under Wenger. He was converted, and he overtook Roberto Carlos at a time when Roberto Carlos was the best of the best in that position. So I have to say, even though he did do what he did near the end of his time at Arsenal and went on to Chelsea and everything that went on there, taking that aside, it has to be Ashley Cole.
Yeah.
You know me, I can't go Ashley Cole. I'm sorry, I just can't go Ashley Cole. There's certain players that at Arsenal that even though they're fantastic players, I just could not pick them for love or money. I just can't do it. Sorry, I can't do it.
Okay.
Ashley Cole, you're not getting my vote for two reasons. One, you left Arsenal, and two, because you got to shell Cole before I did. So,
Sonny always coming in with the jokes. I love it.
For me, a couple of names spring to mind. Kenny Sansom was a player that I grew up with. True story, actually. It's a true story. I used to do Kenny Sansom's mother-in-law's home insurance. Right, I used to work for the co-op back in the day, right? And basically, me and Kenny Sansom, whenever it was, I went to Wolves School. Whenever it was lunchtime, Kenny Sansom used to always be in the pie and mash shop where we used to play football, and he always used to come and have a kickabout with us as well. So Kenny Sansom, I knew really well. So that was even before I done his mum's insurance, right? So Kenny Sansom for me, I'll go over Ashley Cole all day long, especially because, you know, if anyone can remember, we got Kenny Sansom when we gave Clive Allen, when we gave Chris Pennington, we gave Clive Allen to, didn't we? Was it Chris Pennington? Yeah, it was, wasn't it? It was a straight swap? Or did Clive Allen go to Tottenham, didn't he? It was one of them anyway.
Clive Allen went Spurs.
Clive Allen went Spurs, and we got Kenny Sansom. But basically, Kenny Sansom for me. But a couple of other fullbacks that you lot may not remember. Silvino. He was the one who actually replaced Nigel Winterburn.
Okay.
And obviously, good old nutty boy Nigel Winterburn. You know,
friend of the channel. Good guy.
After we've made up.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is, since it's once again 3-1, we're gonna go put Ashley Cole in there, guys.
One more left back. Sammy Nelson. Sammy Nelson. I was at the game when Sammy Nelson scored an own goal against Coventry, and then he scored the equaliser, and he pulled his short stand, and then done a Mooney. So Sammy Nelson just gets in just for that, and Sammy Nelson I used to actually work with as well at Saving Prosper. Was both financial advisors together.
Okay, Sonny, this time we're gonna go right back, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna start from you, and then we're gonna go to Ryan, and I'm gonna finish it off. So, who is your favorite right back for Arsenal all time?
Oh, we've had a few, haven't we? Viv Anderson was a proper right back, but obviously he would claim his fame to more Man United than us. Lee Dixon, I remember he's got a brilliant own goal against from practically from the halfway line.
Yeah.
Our good old mate, Emmanuel Bure.
Okay.
Let's throw another one into the mix. Lauren, Lee Dixon. For me, it'd be Lauren.
Okay. For you, it'd be Lauren. Okay.
Yeah.
Then now we're gonna go to you, Ryan.
See, again, I've got to go with Lee Dixon just because, again, he was more a defensive-minded right back, and what you want from your right back is to defend.
Sonny we forgot as well. We forgot Sanya. How do we forget him?
Yeah, but he left us to Man City when we needed him most.
I see a trend here, guys.
According to Fabregas, he wasn't good enough anyway. But we'll get into that later. Yeah, Lauren could defend, but he was more implied when he came in to replace Lee Dixon. To more attack and overlap on the right.
Yeah.
But I want my defender to defend, and Lee Dixon could defend.
True. So Lee Dixon's your choice. Tom, I know you're into the analytics and you look into the heat maps and everything, and if people need to check out your transfer shows, they're really good. But when it comes to right backs, would Veteran sniff our top right backs or get anywhere near there?
No, he wouldn't. Simply because of the fact that, like Ryan was talking about with Dixon defending, Bellerin's defensive side of his game just isn't anywhere near as what we've seen of our past right backs. I think that Sanya gets a bad rack because of the way he left, obviously, and went to Manchester City. But he was one of our most consistent performers throughout a period where we really lacked a lot of quality in the side. And I think Sanya does get a bad rap for that. And we're still here winning FA Cup with us in his final season as well. So I think that goes unnoticed. But it is between Lauren and Lee Dixon. I think that Lauren's probably probably is the most underrated part of the Invincible side as well. Maybe behind Gilberto Silva for me. But I think that I'm also going to go with Lee Dixon because not only was he a great player defensively, more so than Lauren, but offensively he was okay. But the pass that led to the 89 goal is probably what clinches it for me. Him laying the ball up to Alan Smith, who then flipped it onto Thomas. So I think that is going to make me clinch it. So I'm going to go for Dixon.
I thought he was going to go for the rest of the commentary. Charging through the midfield, it's up for grabs now.
Okay, so Dixon, we got 2 for Dixon, 1 for Lauren. So guys, we have a problem here. We have our first tie. I'm going for Lauren because I feel like Lauren. I didn't watch a lot of those games when they were going on. Like I don't remember a lot of them, but going back and seeing Lauren play, to me, Lauren and Dixon, they both seem like very good right backs. But to me, I felt like Lauren would be the right back that we would need in this type of era, where he could be helping on the attack, and he would also help build up. He would also help connect the midfield and the attack with him running down the wing and controlling the whole wing. So I just feel like, based on what we would look at as a great right back today, I feel like he would be the better right back for our all-time 11 team. And we're going to need the people in the comment section to break this tie because we won't be able to do it ourselves. But if one of you guys wanted to switch,
no, I'll tell you what to do, right?
Take your time now.
The first three names for either one, start from now, are the ones who are going to go in.
Right.
Okay. So what do you guys think, though? Lauren, Lee Dixon, how do we solve this problem?
Give it to a Bure.
Chapter side.
Okay, so we'll leave it as a tie for now.
I said the first 3 names to go in, and no one's putting any comments in there.
Oh, the first 3 names in the comment section, guys. Okay, we got 3 Laurens.
Oh god, it's Lauren then.
1 Dixon.
Well,
2 Dixon.
One spelled wrong.
Okay, does that count? The one that's spelled wrong? No, he doesn't, right?
And it's also not the Lauren in EastEnders who's what's the name? It's not Lauren.
Who had more league titles? Lee Dixon, right?
Lee Dixon,
Yeah, Lee Dixon.
So do you guys want to give it to the man who had more league titles?
No, we just said it's going to go to the comments.
Oh, okay. So then Lauren it is.
It's going to have to be Lauren.
And then there we go. So
you can't let people watch it if you totally ignore them. You got to give them the involvement.
okay, so there we go, guys. That's Lauren, Ashley Cole, and Seaman so far. Now we're going to the center backs, and the center backs we're gonna go as your pairing. You can select your pairing, okay?
Okay.
And we're gonna start this time with Tom, and end with myself.
So you want both of them, or just
Yes, you
Both.
can say both of them and honorable mentions also.
Okay, I think that this is probably the easiest of the entire lineup for me. Adams and Campbell. It's as simple as that. Adams was the best captain we'd ever had, and Campbell was just an absolute brute at the back line. Did fantastically well, won us games with his presence and his aeriality and his strength. And Adams brought that team together. Without Adams, we don't do any of the things that we did under George Graham, in my opinion. And later on into Arsene Wenger's tenure as well. So it's Sol Campbell and it's Adams. I think there are some honourable mentions in there as well, but for me, it has to be those two all day long.
Okay.
I'm not going for either, by the way. I got either.
Sonny, why don't you go? Because you gave it away. Who you think you're going to go for?
But I'm not going to go for either. I mean, obviously they're the most likely to go in, and rightly so. But I'm going to go a bit further back than that. I'm going to go Frank McClintock as my captain and my central defender and my leader.
Okay.
It's more my age group. 1971, when we won a double at White Hart Lane, I was one, so I remember it well. And the other one, would
sprinkle in my dad's eye.
But the other one would be one player that if I was a striker, I wouldn't want to play against ever. Right? Can anyone guess who I'm thinking?
Martin Keown?
Martin Keown, that's the one. So I'll go McClintock and Keown, but you know, who could argue against that? Adams and Campbell, really.
Of course. Okay, yourself, Ryan?
Well, I've got, obviously, my channel is inspired by Mr. Arsenal himself, Tony Adams. If it was all time, I'd have Tony and Frank McClintock, but obviously because we're restricted, it'd have to be for me Martin Keown and Adams. Because as Sonny says, with Martin Keown, you did not want to. You see, look back at the 03-04 season, Van Nistelrooy. The passion that he had, and literally he took no shit. Basically, if you were doing something wrong, he'll let you know about it. He weren't afraid to be sly about his tackles either.
He also don't speak. He also don't talk shit, right? You know, even when you listen to him now, he talks sense. He weren't a pisshead, and he didn't spend a few months in Chelmsford prison either. But
yeah. Okay. So you went for Adam and Keown. So far we have Adam 2, Keown 2, 1 Campbell, and 1 Frank. And I'm gonna go for Mr. Arsenal, obviously. Tony Adams. He has a statue outside of the Arsenal for a reason, holding his hands out. So he's going in. And then for me, I'm picking Judas, the guy Spurs fans call Judas, Mr. Campbell himself. And I felt like he was. I thought at the time he was England's best center back, and he was not. And he was Arsenal's best player, and he was also one of the best center backs in the world at the time. And a lot of people did not put respect on his name because he made that transfer from Spurs to Arsenal. But more people need to look back at his career and actually look at how good of a player he was. And I feel like he could play in today's game. Maybe not as good of a passer, but he could definitely play in today's game. And once again, we have a tie.
But Tony Adams, what's name gets it. Campbell gets it for one reason and one reason alone.
Okay.
When DT interviewed him, Campbell put him in his place, and DT actually pissed himself on camera. So it's got to be Campbell.
Yeah. Okay. So we're agreeing to put Adams and Campbell. Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Honorable mention, David O'Leary, though.
Honorable mention, David O'Leary. Let's see who else is on here. So they have Adams, obviously. They have Steve Bold as an honorable mention. They have Glau Clichy, Kashani, and then Kolo Torre, of course. Honorable mentions. So yeah, now what we're going to be doing, we're going to be going into midfield. Midfield is going to be very interesting, guys. But let me just show what we have so far. So this is what we have so far. with our lineup and how it looks. You guys can see that.
Yep.
Tony Adams. We got Tony Adams, Cole, Campbell, Lauren, and Seaman. And then now we're going to be going to a midfield. Our midfield is going to be our midfield 3. You can pick any combination. And this time we're going to start with Ryan. Okay?
Okay.
So Ryan, you can name your midfield 3, and you can name an honorable mention of somebody who you feel like should have reached their potential or should have been in this list but never got there.
Midfield 3, I would have Patrick Vieira in the middle,
Okay.
just protecting the back 4. Gilberto, just because, again, as we've said before, one of the most underappreciated members of the early noughties under Wenger.
Okay.
Bit like us on YouTube.
Once Vieira left and all, we saw how important Gilberto really was to the team, especially when he got that massive injury. I think it was in the 07-08 season, just before he left. Was it 06-07? One of the two. We saw how important he was to that midfield and what sort of a job he did for us.
Yeah.
And my third option, Petit.
Emmanuel Petit.
Very defensive-minded midfield, but they did a job and they knew how to get back, do the dirty work, and they linked up with the attack as well. They push forward and do. Yeah.
This coronavirus is getting to you, mate. I'm telling you, that's the most boring midfield I've ever seen.
That's your favorite players, though. Also, right? It's not just who you'd pick.
Basically, it's my favourite players because also, again, it's what I've grown up with, who I've seen play, and as I said, they knew how to not just help the back line out, but they could link up and help with the attack.
Of course. Okay. And how would you build that team? Would you have like one of them playing a DM, or would you have them just a flat midfield 3?
I'd have Vieira as a DM, just because of how more physically demanding he could be.
Okay.
He's got the legs to get back as well.
Okay. So I'm gonna get to you, Tom, soon, but I'm just gonna let Sonny go first. Sonny, what was your midfield 3? Because I know you're gonna throw some names out from the left that people are gonna have to think about for a second.
Well, it's got to be 3 Mesut Ozils, isn't it? Really.
Midfield was bad.
My midfield 3 is obviously one of the greatest players to ever grace the Premier League. It's got to be Patrick Vieira. You know, you can't have a team without him. Second, it'd be another player I've really enjoyed watching, and I wish we never let him go, and he didn't get an injury. Santi Cazorla, one of the best players to ever play for Arsenal, in my opinion. Always at least an 8 out of 10 performance from him.
Yeah.
And there's one player which it was mentioned. I'm going to have to try and find the comment now. I can't find it. Here we go. But it was Daniel, and I think it was Mark who was the other one. Mark Redmond, Liam Brady, fucking better be in there. You can't go an Arsenal greatest midfield without putting Chip in there. One of the greatest left foots to have ever graced Arsenal, and you know, not many players in his era would have went and signed for the great Juventus in them days as well. You know.
Liam Brady.
Good shout. Yeah.
Good shout. Just before I go, Tom, I'm gonna say all the names that are on this sheet. So they have Santi Cazorla, obviously. They have Fabregas. They have Lundberg, Overmars. We can also class them as wingers if we want to. Also, they have Ray Parla. They have Emmanuel Petit. They have Aaron Ramsey, Rosowski, Gilberto Silva, Patrick Vieira, Wilshere, and I'm pretty sure Wiltor was a striker, but they have Wiltor on this list also.
Yeah, striker.
But so Tom, let us know what you think.
So my midfield 3 is sort of with 2 deeper centre mids, with then a number 10, which is kind of as a second striker, but playing as number 10. So my 2 is Patrick Vieira has to go in there for obvious reasons. Captain, physical presence, technical ability on the ball, and he had a decent shot in him when he took one from a few yards out as well.
Okay.
The other one I have to agree with Sonny. It has to be Liam Brady. It might show my age picking him, but luckily I have a magical thing called the internet, which allows me to go and watch back some amazing Arsenal clips. And if you look at the pitches that Liam Brady had to play on during the 70s, he was by far the best player on that pitch, and he could just do things that these footballers can't even do on these flat pitches these days. So he has to be in there. And then as a number 10 or a second striker, it has to be Dennis Bergkamp. Playing behind my front three and feeding those guys. But honourable mention has to go to Santi Cazorla 100%. I think that he technically is the second best we've had technically in the midfield behind Dennis Bergkamp for me. So I'd still go for Bergkamp at number 10 and Brady and Vieira in behind.
Ain't we still got to pick our front three, or have I run out of players?
No, we still have to pick our front three after this. So far we have 2 for Liam Brady, 3 for Patrick, so pretty much Patrick Vieira is in. Gilberto Silva has 1, Petit has 1, you have Santi has 1, and Dennis Bergkamp has 1. But we could also class Dennis Bergkamp as a part of our front three, couldn't we, if we wanted to?
You could do, yeah. So you could play him.
I will change my Petit to Bergkamp actually, and have the back, and then have Gilberto as a partner with, and then you can have that number 10 then.
Okay, so Dennis Bergkamp is now one of those people. So what I went with was I actually put Cesc Fabregas in there, guys, showing my age a little bit, because I felt like Cesc Fabregas, when I watch Arsenal, when I started watching Arsenal till now, I feel like he was one of the most influential players in just lifting the team and carrying them throughout a game. Like he, from the minute the game began to the end of the game, he was bossing that midfield. And I never really seen too many games where he was hiding or being a passenger like we would have players today doing. Or maybe that's just my selective memory, but I put him in there. Patrick Vieira obviously is in there, and I feel like he's a staple to any of our midfields for our Arsenal all-time 11s. And he would probably be up there. If it wasn't for Tony Adams, he would be in the captaincy choices for this team going forward. And then my third choice, honestly, it was tough. I thought about it very, very hard, but I just couldn't find a way to not put Santi Cazorla in there also, because I loved Santi Cazorla as an Arsenal player, and he was like one of the main players that I thought this guy is going to help us win a league title. And I thought that season when Leicester were winning the league, if he stayed healthy, we would have won that title. I genuinely believe that till today. So my midfield three is Fabregas, Santi, and Dennis Bergkamp. I mean, not Dennis Bergkamp, Patrick Vieira.
I say that. Just going back to Cesc Fabregas though a minute. I remember when the season when Vieira left, and by fate will have it, we went and got Juventus, didn't we? Straight after in the Champions League. You remember the Champions League we used to be in? And I remember. Everyone's thinking, how's Fabregas going to play up against Vieira, right? Fabregas just totally bossed him. If there was ever a sign of a player declining and someone on the up, that was the game. And also, I'm going to throw a curveball at you as well, right? Because I've had Liam Brady in, right? One of the other players, who had a very, very good left foot, who complemented Brady perfectly, was Graham Rix. Graham Rix was an exceptional player for Arsenal as well.
Definitely, yeah.
And now we're going to go on. Now we're going to go on to the forward line.
Just before we go on to the forward line, I was looking at my app. Unfortunately, Liam Brady's not on this list, guys. So we're gonna leave.
You can't take Liam Brady out. You can take Arsenal out. No, you can't take Brady out, mate. You can take the name Arsenal out, but you can't take Brady out.
We're gonna leave that spot open.
No, we're not. We're not.
No, we're gonna leave it open for him. We're not gonna fill that in. But who are we consensus? So Patrick Vieira, Liam Brady, and who's the next person? Are we going Dennis Bergkamp, or are we gonna put Dennis Bergkamp part of our front three?
I don't think my front three will line up like yours.
Okay. So who are we agreeing on? Santi Cazorla has 2 people. Dennis Bergkamp has 2. Liam Brady has 2, and Fabregas has 1. Gilberto Silva has 1. How are we going to go with our front three? I mean, our midfield.
Mate, you know what? The kid, you're showing your age, mate. You're showing your age.
I am.
you've got to be Brady, Bergkamp, and Vieira then. The consensus.
Okay.
That's in your team. I'll leave my Bergkamp as my ace up my sleeve at the moment. I'm not using my Bergkamp yet.
Okay.
Okay, so you're gonna go Santi?
I mean, if that's how it's going to fit.
Tom?
I'd go Bergkamp, but I can't not put Bergkamp at 10 for me.
Okay. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna see if I can change the formation. Maybe.
Well, I'm not going to 4-3-3. I'm going a 1-2 in now.
Okay. So let's see if I can change the formation. Get him in there somehow. Struggles real, guys. Okay, anyways, we're gonna move on. So what we decided is Dennis Bergkamp, Patrick Vieira, and Liam Brady, correct?
Sonny's not happy.
Sorry guys, it's not my decision. It's not mine.
So that's what we're going for, guys, or are we replacing one of those guys?
You can't put Bergkamp. You can't put Bergkamp in the midfield, mate. He can't. He's not. He can't play him as a midfielder.
Okay, so are we agreeing Santi Gazzola, Gilberto Silva, or Petit?
No, none of them.
So who's going in the midfield?
It's gonna. If it was down to me, right? Not that I got no sway, but because we're all equal. We're all equal here. If it was my midfield, personally, I'd go for Vieira, Cazorla, and Brady.
Okay, Ryan. I mean Tom. I know Tom. I hear Tom wants to speak here.
If Sonny, you're saying that your front three is going to be a 1-2, right, with the 2 being up top, then your Bergkamp, I'm assuming, is in behind those 2.
He may not necessarily get in because for the first 7 games he was shit, and I haven't forgiven him yet for that. So.
I think if what Sonny's saying is Bergkamp's going to go behind the 2, I think you have to put Bergkamp as the cam in the midfield because it will still fit. It will still work.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to leave those honorable spots open for Dennis Bergkamp and Liam Brady, and we're going to move on to our front 3. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, because we still can't. This is a democracy here. We can't just. You know what I mean? Okay, so now we're gonna move on to the front 3, the historic front 3. And guys, I'm just gonna throw mine out there because I'm probably the youngest guy here. I'm just assuming. I don't know anybody's age, but I'm gonna go obviously Henry, first name on the team sheet for me when it comes to attackers.
You're so young, I thought you were going to put a Bambi and Lacazette in there.
I am going to put someone quite recent, though, that you might not be happy about. I was going to say Alexis goes up there for me as one of the wingers, just because of the season that he had just a couple of years ago, where he was easily one of the best players on the planet in that position.
1 minute, though. Can I just pick you up on that? Right, can I just pick you up on that? Alexis was predominantly down the left. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm putting him on the left.
And you put him above Robert Perez.
No. Okay, that's struggle. Okay, yeah, you're making me think, guys. Okay. Let me redo this 1 second. I'm gonna keep it simple. My team was gonna be Dennis Bergkamp on the right, Henry on the other side, and then I was gonna put either Alexis or Ian Wright. But now I'm thinking I'm gonna put Henry on the left, Dennis Bergkamp on the right, and Ian Wright and down the middle. That's gonna be my front 3. So I'm gonna just quickly get over that you guys are making funny faces.
Well, Theo Walcott always wanted to play striker. I thought you might as well put Theo Walcott up front.
And I'm just gonna move on, guys. So I'm gonna finish off with Sonny this time. I'm gonna start with you, Tom.
Okay, so I've gone for a front 3 where one of these players is playing kind of out of position, but Henry's going on the left, Ian Wright's going in the middle, and Perez is going on the right, with obviously Dennis Bergkamp was at 10, so he's feeding that front 3. You have to have Ian Wright in there, and you have to have Thierry Henry, so they're our 2 highest goal scorers at the club. I see a lot of comments in the chat about Alexis over Perez, which I'm finding unbelievable in my mind. Because what Perez brought to this team was so much class and drive and dribbling and technical skill. And I know I'm putting him on the opposite side, but he was so good with both feet, not necessarily with the end product on both feet, but the way that he could pass the ball from right foot to left foot, take it around players, technical skill to chip so many goalkeepers and then layoff passes, and the combination play he had with Henry was one of the most unrivaled partnerships the Premier League has ever seen. So Perez has got to be in there over Alexis Sanchez, because one, Perez didn't drop off a cliff quite like Alexis Sanchez dropped off a cliff. So for me, it's right in the middle, Henry on the left and Perez on the right hand side, with an honourable mention of Yaya Sanogo, like they put in the chat there.
If Anelka stayed at Arsenal, he could have been a legend, but he wanted to leave. So, anyways, I'll keep it moving.
Well, it's all about it's all about money now. So he made the board a lot of money, so he's got to go in the All-Star 11 just for the money he made them.
Yeah, he's actually on the list, surprisingly. What do you think yourself, Ryan?
Well, my front three,
Yeah.
all time, by the way, has
Yeah.
to be Rocky on the right,
Say it again.
Rocky Rocastle on the right.
You know what? We should take a second just to talk about that when you get a chance. Go ahead.
Mark Overmars on the left,
Okay, Overmars.
and it's a toss up at the moment between Righty or Henry. I have to go Righty because unlike Henry, who left us when we needed him the most, and for money, Righty was forced out. Let's be honest. It's come to his career anyway, but he was forced. It wasn't his choice. If
He went to West Ham, right?
Yeah, but it was up to him. He would have stayed and retired at Arsenal, and even now he still loves Arsenal. So
Yeah.
and what gets me with Henry, in one interview I watched recently, he was asked the same. I think it's Graham Norton asked him twice, and he gave two different answers. One answer was, "I didn't know if Wenger would stay or not," but by the time he decided to leave, Wenger had already signed a new contract, and then he mentioned, "Oh, we weren't competitive enough." So
Let's be honest. He wanted to win the Champions League, and he did what? And he just went to those guys.
I think that's the difference between modern day football and old day football, and we're still missing some great players out there as well, like Merson, Van Persie, Kanu, Adebayo.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think about this comment? Just before we move on.
Ryan ain't gave his team, has he? He ain't gave his three strikers, have you? He gave you three strikers?
Yeah, he gave us Rocky, Overmars, and Ian Wright. Just before we move on to Sonny, what do you guys think about this comment when guys are talking about Anelka compared to Henry? Someone thinks Anelka is better than Ian Wright.
I mean, it's just not serious, is it?
Different styles.
Yeah.
Henry, Ian Wright was a goal scorer, out and out. He knew what the goal was. He could have his back to the goal. He knew what the goal would be.
True. Yeah.
I mean, there's one goal. There's one goal in particular. Get Hybe against Everton, where he literally gets the ball, comes over to him. He takes it on one. Is it right foot, then left foot, then right again, and hits it, and then lobs the Everton goalkeeper, who was Neville Southall at the time.
True.
And it's
Okay, Sonny.
The goals against the Spurs were a bonus.
You know what? There's so many great players we've missed, right, as well. Like, even players that weren't so great, but in any team they'll be effective. You know, if you want a goal scoring midfielder, you look at David Platt. Even though his best years were behind him when he came to us. The Michael Thomases, Paul Davis. There's a lot of good players at Arsenal. You know.
Here's to name a few.
Jack Wilshere, even that little rat Sammy Nasri, little Mozart, Thomas Rosicky, and they're just modern day players. I mean, we've got your Ray Parlers,
Kanu.
Kanu's a striker, right? Paul Merson's going to strikers. You got Malcolm McDonald. You had Frank Stapleton. You had Alan Smith, Alan Sunderland. There was Tony Woodcock, Paul Mariner. Arsenal has some good strikers down here as well. Francis Jeffers, right?
Going back to the midfield, George Graham himself.
George Stroll himself, yeah. So there's a lot of players that we're skating over. I mean, what we should also do on one of your channels, maybe next time, we should do the worst Arsenal 11.
Yeah, we can make it. We can make it a part 2.
Yeah, if you want. I'll invite myself around your ass. We'll have a worse Arsenal.
That's after the quarantine situation, though.
For me, a player which I would have liked to have got in the team, but obviously I can't, would have been Paul Merson. I think Merson was an exceptional player. We have to go Bergkamp. We ain't got a choice. For me, I'll have to put him in, and for the same reasons, I'll have to go Henry. For the same reason you have Vieira, and again, why Tony Adams was in. You can't have an Arsenal team for me without having, even though I didn't pick some of them, without having Tony Adams, without having Seaman, Adams, Vieira, Liam Brady, and Henry. You just have to have them. If they were the nucleus of my team, I'd be happy. I'd be happy with that. Which leaves me one position on the right, and that goes to, still get emotional today, Rocky Rocastle, and it's got nothing to do with him passing away. The guy brought technical ability to Arsenal before the foreign players did. And also, I sat across I was a junior gunner, and I was on the way home, and David Rocastle was sitting right opposite me, and he took the time to come over and chat with me, and basically the guy was just a gentleman. I'm not just saying that because everyone else said he actually was. So he gets into my team all day long.
Yeah. Oh man. So what we have right now is we have Ian Wright. We have 3 votes for Ian Wright. That means, guys.
Ian Wright I didn't put in because he's never messaged me on Twitter, and Ian Wright, you won't get the opportunity now because I'm banned.
Okay, so yeah, Ian Wright is on the list, and he is one of the people that was named on 3 of our teams, so he gets in automatically. Henry is going to get on we're going to put him on the left on our team. We're going to put Ian Wright as a striker, and now we have, due to the fact that we have a tie with Rocky and Dennis Bergkamp.
Other ties are available as well. You got bow tie. So there are other ties available.
Yeah. So what do you guys personally think? With those 3 opening spots that we did, we're going to put Dennis Bergkamp, Liam Brady, and Rocky Roadcastle. How does that sound to you guys? And altogether, how does that team look when you think about it that way? With Rocky, Liam Brady, and Dennis Bergkamp in those empty spots.
Bergkamp goes behind the 3 of Wright, Henry, and Rocastle, with Brady and Vieira in behind. I think that's a solid team.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously we all know who the manager of this team would be, even though he didn't leave on the best of terms, leaving the club.
No, it's got to be Emery, hasn't it? It's got to be Emery. It has to be Emery. Can't be anyone else.
He is the only manager where we threw a parade when he left. Anyways, was it that bad when after George Graham left, the manager who came in after George Graham, was there parties when he was gone?
Bruce Philp.
Yeah.
I mean, just go back to Emery though. I mean, it'd have to be Emery for me for one reason alone. Emery could be saying a bad man when you think he's saying John Jules. He would none of us do what he's saying.
Yeah. He would probably go down as one of the worst managers, right?
For me, it'd be George Graham, to be honest, yeah.
George Graham. Ooh. Tom, did you watch a lot of football in the George Graham days? Are you too young for that?
I mean, I was too young to watch it live, but I've certainly gone back and watched loads of it. But it's for me, it's Arsene Wenger. It's a big debate. Obviously, I'm definitely on the side that he stayed too long at Arsenal, but he is the most successful manager in Arsenal's history. I get the affiliation a lot of people have with George Graham, but there's a lot of issues that I take with what happened during his time, and for me, that doesn't then mean that Wenger didn't do anything wrong. He definitely did some stuff that wasn't right, but he just achieved more than anyone else. And for me, when you look back even further, arguably Arsenal wouldn't be where they are right now without Herbert Chapman. So he's probably worth a mention as well. Probably the earliest going back of all the people we talked about today. So,
of course. Go ahead, Ryan. You were saying something?
No, I was going to say I was watching the podcast the other day, on the Gooners podcast. It had Lee Dixon on there. And he summed it up perfectly. Wenger, as a forward-thinking manager, but beyond his time, was above and beyond George Graham. But George Graham knew how to coach players,
Yeah.
especially the defence. Whereas Wenger didn't have that ability, and he just happened to come into a team of, especially when it comes to the background, and had been drilled under George Graham and coached, that they could then coach others, and so that continued for a bit longer than it normally would have done.
Yeah.
But if you notice, once that George Graham era, and then the people and the players that initially came in under Wenger, once they left, we saw how exposed Wenger can be when it comes to coaching players. And Fabregas said it as well on the podcast he was on, that there's times Wenger would you want your manager, your head coach to step up and pull you to one, even if it's pull you to one side and say, this is what you're going wrong.
Okay. So just before, sorry, Ryan.
Sorry, taking out the equation of what happened at the end with George Graham with the whole brown envelope situation, even though he wasn't the only one who done it. Taking out the equation what he actually achieved and what, because I remember when George Graham then came in, we hadn't won a title or we weren't really competitive at all since '71. That was the last time we really were competitive.
Yeah.
But he came in, now laid foundations, sorted things out, and in a few years we're winning league titles. If we wasn't under a European ban, because Liverpool,
which was my point the other day. Actually,
we would have won a European, at least one.
I'm so glad you just said
European
that.
title.
Which was my point the other day on a football series, and I was well and truly thrown under the bus because I mentioned that, and it wasn't anything to do with Liverpool fans causing that. It was just to do with, that was the only event that I can remember, apart from now, that there was no football played for any reason. Obviously, domestic football was played before I put in the comments. Just going on the Wenger-Graham debate as well. For me, I don't think I'm ever going to see an Arsenal team play the football we played under Arsene Wenger ever, in my opinion. I think we were blessed. The only thing what disappoints me is we should have won a lot more. In my opinion, was Wenger a slack coach, or was he just a very trusting father figure who had the utmost faith in his kids? I had a Rottweiler as well. Once I've actually had two. I love the thing to death. Used to take for walks, used to feed it. But I didn't show that no discipline either. And one day I went to take a sock out of his mouth. He almost took my hand off. So, there does need to be some discipline, because after that I was shit scared from that dog.
Guys, Sonny, I was just gonna say one more thing before we wrap it up. When it comes to the all-time 11, is there any player that gets into this all-time 11 that's from the Premier League? That's from the Premier League era. That's played at the Emirates that we have seen over the past couple of years, excluding Santi Cazorla and Cesc Fabregas that we've already mentioned. Do you think any other player would get into that team, such as Alexis Sanchez, Van Persie, or any of those guys?
I think that Sanya's got a shout at right back, possibly. I think the fact he didn't achieve anything besides an FA Cup, and that period that he played in is looked under so horrifically that he gets a very bad rap from a lot of fans. But actually, I think that he was. I don't agree with Cesc Fabregas' comments about the rest of the side, because I think that Sanya was definitely up there as one of the most consistent performers. He was arguably more consistent than Cesc in a lot of games as well. So I think that there's a chance you could talk about Cesc. You could talk about Bakary Sagna. But other than that, Aubameyang's goal scoring record is exceptional. But he just he's not been here long enough to score as many goals as the likes of Wright and Henry and win what they did. So he can't really be in the same breadth for me. I am going to have to shoot off, I'm afraid, though, boys.
Okay.
Last mention.
Nice to have you on.
No problem at all. It's been an absolute pleasure, lads.
Tom, see that, mate.
Let people know where they can find you first before you go.
Yeah, Gooner Talk TV, and also on Friday we're doing a Premier League quiz, trying to raise some money for the NHS. So if you're around 7 o'clock on Friday, please don't tune in for that. Yeah.
When you mention the NHS, that's what you got to do. But when you're out in the street, don't stand too close to each other and clap.
There you go. Right, I'll see you later, boys. Have a good
See you
one.
later. Take care,
Have a
mate.
good one.
Just for me, going back to Wenger Graham. For me, obviously, 89 was the first time I could remember Arsenal winning the league, and that was the most special thing for me. So there won't be another league title or another. Maybe if we ever won the Champions League, which I don't think would ever happen. That's why I'd go George Graham. What was the next question that you asked? Was there any?
I asked,
was there any players? Yeah. Going back to any players, from the time that we closed that black door at Highbury in Avenel Road, and the commissioner retired and he went home. Anything to do with the Emirates era, I'll chuck it all in the dustbin, because as far as I'm concerned, we ain't compete with Bayern Munich, and give it a few years, and if we done the next Arsenal Greatest 11 in 10 years' time. Where are we picking from? That's the question. Are we picking from Harrods, or are we picking from what's the name? Primark.
Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying. So you're not saying none of them deserve to be even mentioned.
You know what? I don't care if Van scored 1,000 goals, just for the era and what Arsenal become to the greatness we just spoke about. I couldn't put them in the same breath. Two different teams.
True.
Two different clubs.
True. Okay, Ryan, anything for you before you go?
On an honourable mention of a potential, could have had a potential to go on to help us achieve great things, would have been Eduardo, because he came in, when he got given his chance, he took it, and then that horrific injury over a year out, and he never. Once he came back, got back from the full recovery from the injury, for whatever reason, he was still scoring goals. Wenger never really gave him a proper chance, and then literally the following summer, he got shipped out for Shamak.
Ryan, I think he's overrated, mate. To be honest with you, I honestly think the guy's overrated.
But what I'm saying is, that in terms of potential, it could have had that ability, because at the time he was scoring goals for fun, along with Adebayor.
Yeah,
Mm.
and then that injury just and Wenger never really gave him a chance after that. And if you look at it, he got shipped out and outed when they brought Shamak in. Shamak came through the door, and Shamak was arguably one of the worst strikers we've had in the Emirates era. Started off right, but then got comfortable, and that was it. He sat off.
Yeah,
he couldn't even make it Crystal Palace for a season.
Yeah, if there's one player who was really unlucky with injuries, was this guy here, David Hillier. I'm going to reach out to David actually, because David promised me he was going to come on. So if David's back in the country, hopefully he is and he's well. I'm going to reach out to him, try and get him on actually.
Yeah, so Sonny, I pretty much asked all the questions. I was thinking we could wrap up now. Depending on if you guys have anything to say before we head out, or anyone in the comments have anything to say, you guys can go ahead.
You know what? I mean, I think we're doing another show in the next couple of days, just a general chat, because it's good to see Ryan, who I haven't spoken to for a while. I'll try to get James along as well, James Rowan as well. And stuff, and we should have a little catch up. We should have a little chat, innit?
Yeah.
And everyone in the comments joining as well.
I can let people know what we're doing tomorrow. We're gonna have a United fan on, and we're gonna have a Spurs fan on to talk about where everybody's at and how.
Wasn't my idea. It wasn't my idea.
It was not Sonny's idea. If it was up to Sonny, Spurs fans wouldn't come near this channel.
But it's a very special Spurs fan, if there's such thing as a special Spurs fan, which is why I'm allowing it. Is it actually Terry's dad? Is it Terry's dad?
No, this is going to be Melvin's friend.
It's Melvin's friend. So it's not that special. It's Melvin's friend so special, but it ain't that special. No, you are special for coming on, and we appreciate your time as well.
And Ryan, go right ahead. Tell the people where they can find you, and tell them a little bit about your channel and why you started it.
Well, basically, where you can find me is on my ats for Twitter on the screen there at MrArsenal89. And the whole reason why I did do my channel, and I started it over a year ago, nearly 2 years ago now, coming this summer, was basically to chat with fellow Arsenal fans like yourselves week in, week out on a weekly basis about the situation of what we're in at the moment with Arsenal, be it good, bad, or whatever, and just have a laugh with people. I've been so lucky to have the likes of Kevin Campbell, who you both know, on my channel a couple of times. He was on earlier on today. We were doing.
Was it?
Yeah, it was me, him, James, and Lee judges. It's like a tribute to Rocky.
That's nice.
And it was just reminiscent on what sort of person he was.
Yeah, everyone go and watch that. Go and watch the MrArsenal podcast. You've got Kevin Campbell on there. You've got Lee Judges. James Rowe knows his football. Lives in Holland, and obviously you got Ryan, MrArsenal podcast himself.
Yeah.
Mark Redmond. That's got to be a piss take, Mark. Seriously, that's got to be a piss take. Sonny, next time get some Arsenal fans on. Right, everyone in the comments. Unfortunately, my Twitter has gone. I'm a dickhead, basically. Back in the day when I first lost my first account permanently, and I've been trying to swerve it and being like a tranny at a disco, pretending I'm a woman. I've been making new Twitter accounts up, right, and trying not to link them to me, but they've sussed. So, but what I didn't know is they didn't permanently delete my account. They just wanted me to go and press the I'll adhere to their rules button. I didn't know where it was. So basically, I just shot myself in the foot. But I'm having a little dispute with Twitter. While the coronavirus is on, they wanna
keeps you busy.
They want to get me off Twitter while the coronavirus is on. Are you having a laugh? And there are more important things going on in the world than getting me off Twitter while the bloody coronavirus on. You know what the hell is going on with this world? Honestly.
So yeah, if you guys want to reach out to the channel, you can reach out to me, and I can try to get you guys in.
Yeah, good point. Go and follow the kid on his Twitter. What's your Twitter handle?
The Kid EG.
Right, the Kid EG. And basically get yourselves on the channel. And the other way to contact me is obviously through Insta. Sonny TV Arsenal on Insta, and also come follow me on Facebook. For some reason, I've got two Arsenal pages on Facebook. It's Sonny Arsenal and Sonny TV Arsenal, and they're both me. It's not my brother, so they're both me. One's a bad-tempered me, and one's a happy me. so pick whichever one you want. But leave your comments accordingly on which one. So come join me on Twitter, and also if people send me a message, on Messenger on Twitter, I do answer you. You know, I do answer you, and we can have a chat as long as it's in the right hours. Anyone from Nigeria asking me for an Arsenal shirt, I don't work for the Arsenal club shop, mate. I can't help you. And don't follow me on Facebook if you've got nothing about Arsenal in your bio either. Let's just give that a quick read out. Look at Tower Radio. Big up yourselves. You know what? Look at Tower Radio. Keep your family safe and yourself safe. You know what? I didn't take this coronavirus bullshit seriously at first, to be honest with you. As you see, when we done our podcast on it, go check it out. Look how much we was laughing and joking about it, right? I'll tell you something, right? I'm going to actually do one tomorrow. I'll do one tomorrow morning, right? We'll have a little chat tomorrow morning. We'll talk about why Liverpool should be stripped of the title tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
We'll think why Liverpool should... I've never met such a group of emotional fans in my life. They'll cry and bitch and moan about anything.
A certain YouTuber has called Liverpool fans a special breed, and it just goes to show you why he says that. You know what? I hope they go another 30 years without winning the league. I'm saying, I don't care how many Champions Leagues that they win. Just for the crying factor of it. Go on, mate. I've had a well-known Liverpool fan block me on Twitter because I said I've never cussed at him. I've never said anything to him. All I said was I think voiding the season is an option, and for you not to think that it's an option, you're in the wrong. And he just blocked me.
They've got a fan base together. We've got a fan base together to try and get me off YouTube. They've got a fan base together to try and get me, little old me, off YouTube. Can you believe it?
You know jealous what?
Get me off YouTube. You see me on the side of buses. I'll be on billboards. I'll have the A1 board, whatever it's called, outside McDonald's. Yeah. I ain't going nowhere. Right? Catch me tomorrow. Let's talk about why Liverpool shouldn't win the league. Right? Let's have a laugh, and let's just hope they don't backfire on us, and then they go play the game to the end of the season. And we'll also talk about the coronavirus stuff as well, and why it is now important for you to stay self-isolated.
Yeah, and we're gonna have Adam from Spain coming in, and he's also going to be talking about what's going on in Spain. And he's also a fan of a championship club, so he's going to be talking about his football club, Cardiff, and how they might actually get double relegated because of this whole coronavirus issue.
Anyway, that's us done. Big up all yourselves who are watching, and anyone who hasn't been watching, why not? Because there's sort of one telly to watch, right?
Yeah.
Hit your notification bell. Follow the MrArsenal podcast. Follow Gooner Talk. But importantly, follow me. Follow me on Facebook, Sonny TV Arsenal, and get your messenger. Let's have a chat. And any ideas if you want to come on the channel. Even though it went wrong the first time around with the other lot, good luck to them on whatever they do. Hope their families are healthy and safe, and they keep themselves safe as well, because that's the most important thing. Be the new breed. Be the new breed. You know.
Yeah.
You know, because from now on, my attitude has changed, right? Whoever's with me, they're with me for as long as they want to be with me. And if you want to go after that, good luck to you. And then we get a new lot in. You know, there's a world full of people out there with all sorts to offer. But we're out of here. Say bye, Ryan.
See you later, guys. Up the Arsenal.
And follow this guy as well. Follow this guy because people support the channel and come out and support me. Then you know what, they've got they're with me. They're with me to the end. And the kid. Big up yourself, the kid. All the work you're doing as well.
Hey guys, have a good one, and come watch the video tomorrow, guys. And we're going to be going live around the same time.
And if I get up, join me in the morning. Take care. Stay safe, Arsenal. We're out of here.
Bye.